The Crypto Markets Update is brought to you by KuCoin, the best place to find the next crypto gem.
Well, joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is DFD Partners President Bilal Little. Good morning, Bilal.
Hey, good morning, Lawrence. How you doing?
Glad you're here. So we had this bit of a rally yesterday afternoon, New York time, approaching 17,000, breaking 17,000, coming back off a little bit. What caused that? And also, do you think that the fears of contagion have subsided in the market, or do we have a little bit more problems ahead?
No, good question. So, look, the rebound that you saw yesterday, I think anytime you have an episodic event, markets tend to oversell. And what also happens is you also see the immediate look to the contagion, and everyone starts pointing fingers. And that's why everyone turned their attention to Genesis, Grayscale, Coinbase. It was everyone, right? And then as markets gain more clarity, what happens is you see the fair market value probably come back in alignment. So Bitcoin was trading probably around 18 to 20,000 pretty comfortably, and you saw a push or sell down to 15,000 or so. And markets have come back to around 17,000. I also think from that, we're on the back of a very, very large black swan in the deal with Sam Bankman-Fried, and the market is again looking for clarity and transparency. But the contagion impact of that obviously led to eyeballs facing other potential providers.
Nonetheless, I mean, if you were to guess directionally where we're going, I mean, we're at close to 17,000 right now. 20,000 is just a little bit off. Or do you think we go $3,000 in the down direction and more towards 14, 13, 12? Where do you? What's the most likely scenario in your eyes?
The most likely, I actually think we see somewhere between 12 and 13 before we see 22. And I think it's going to be on the back of what are the other contagion impacts around this particular event around FTX. I think as you see different providers, they're going to struggle to not only meet liquidity demands, but also counterparty risk. That's the conversation that people aren't having. We tend to only have conversations around counterparty risk and or liquidity when there are exotic events. But that should be driving factors when actually doing business.
Bilal, this week there's been a lot of unrest in China. There's been a lot going on there, and there have been some headlines kind of saying there's been a correlation with the larger markets. I'm just curious, what do you think the events in China mean for either the crypto or the traditional markets, or is it irrelevant?
Definitely not irrelevant. I mean, let's be very clear. Anything that happens in China, because they're such a large player from a manufacturing side, it's going to have a spillover effect and touch other markets. So that's a critical component of the global economy. Although, like, we're starting to see some level of comfortability here within the U.S., where GDP actually surprised slightly to the upside. The Fed might potentially, let's just say, raise rates by only 50 basis points, and they're starting to reach their targets. But make no mistake, if something happens in China, that contagion effect will impact the United States, and we will obviously have continued issues around growth as well.